Hey, how's it going, Fight fans? Welcome to Mindful Combat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan. It's my platform where I do MMA and boxing related content. If you're new here, why don't you help me grow my platform? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't, and maybe hit that bell icon so you know whenever I upload a video. Also, maybe get involved in the conversation in the comment section below. With that said, this is a video that I'm really looking forward to be making, and that's breaking down or making picks on the whole of the UFC 246 main card. Now, just to be clear, I've done a proper in-depth, detailed breakdown for the Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone main event fight that's happening. If you haven't checked it, go onto my channel and check it out, or check the link that I'll leave below in the comment section. I'll probably put in a pinned comment or something. So be sure to check out the detailed breakdown I've done of Conor McGregor versus Donald Cerrone. And in this fight, I'm just going to be giving the quick picks on the main card fights and giving you guys maybe some of my thoughts on how I think it's going to be playing out and giving you guys my pick for it. So anyways, guys, without further ado, let's get into it. So the card opens up with one of my personal favourites in Anthony Pettis, who's taken on Carlos Diego Ferreira. It's a very interesting fight coming into this. Anthony Pettis is a dude who, after winning the world title in the UFC, was 18-2, was seen as a superstar, has really struggled to find consistency in his career. He's gone all of 4-7 since that fight. He's coming off a loss to Nate Diaz in this most recent fight, and he's coming back down to 155 pounds after a 1-1 stint at welterweight. Now, it's a very interesting fight because he takes on Carlos Diego Ferreira, who, despite being slightly older than him at 34, Anthony Pettis is 32, is actually on a 5-fight win streak and is on the upward motion in his career. Carlos Diego Ferreira, who at one point had lost 2 fights in a row to the likes of Dustin Poirier and Beneil Dariush, has picked it up since his steroid suspension. He's been back, he's been looking to business, and he comes off a huge win over Mirbek Tasimov. With that said, let's look at some of the key things. Anthony Pettis is slightly taller. He stands at 5'10", and Carlos Diego Ferreira stands at 5'9". Anthony Pettis has a 72.5-inch reach, whereas Carlos Diego Ferreira has a 74-inch reach. Now, this fight is very interesting where the styles match up, because Anthony Pettis is much more of a defined and more dynamic striker than Carlos Diego Ferreira, who likes to pressure fighters and utilize both his striking and his grappling to be able to get the win. If you haven't seen this fight with Mirbek Tasimov, definitely check it out. That's a brilliant fight, really good fight, and you guys should definitely go watch it. Anthony Pettis has key wins over Benson Henderson, not once but twice. He's taken out Donald Cowboy Cerrone, fighting in the main event, so that's very interesting. He's taken out the likes of Michael Chiesa, he's taken out the likes of Charles the Bronx Oliveira, he's taken out Gilbert Melendez to defend his title. He's got so many great wins. He's a great fighter, obviously knocked out Joe Lozan as well. When we're looking at Carlos Diego Ferreira, his best wins are going to be his 2 most recent wins, taking out a streaker in Rustam Khabilov and a streak in Mirbek Tasimov, 2 guys that are highly respected. Mirbek Tasimov in particular, I thought was going to go on to be a contender. He might still be, might just see just how good Carlos Diego Ferreira is. Now, where this fight gets interesting is that Anthony Pettis does his best work when he has space. However, I don't think Carlos Diego Ferreira will give him any space. Carlos Diego Ferreira is a dude that I respect a lot as well, and he looks to be a very prolific, durable guy, and I think he's going to walk Pettis down and be able to get it messy. I think as the fight plays on, Pettis will have success early, and he will land shots, but I think Carlos Diego Ferreira is going to be on him like white on rice and put Pettis against the cage in a similar way that RDA did. I think as the fight plays out, the fight will start to favour Carlos Diego Ferreira, and I think he's going to win rounds 2 and 3 prolifically, and I think we're going to see a big win for him to make it a 6-fight win streak and announce himself as a contender at 155 pounds. Carlos Diego Ferreira to take the first fight. As we move on, we've got a fight in a women's division between Claudia Gadelha and Alexa Grasso. Now, had you asked me about this fight maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would say Claudia Gadelha is definitely going to dominate this fight and take this fight. This is a bit different though. Claudia Gadelha, the 31-year-old, is 5 years the senior of Alexa Grasso, who's only 26. Claudia Gadelha stands at 5'4". Alexa Grasso stands at 5'5", so she has a slight height advantage and a 3-inch reach advantage over Claudia Gadelha with a 66-inch reach, and Claudia Gadelha has a 63-inch reach. The interesting thing about this fight is Claudia Gadelha hasn't necessarily looked like the best of the best in recent times. She's looked a bit slower, a bit more beatable. Once upon a time, she used to look almost unbeatable with the exception of anyone but Joanna. But that's not how she's looked lately. And in this fight, coming into this fight, there's tons and tons of questions. Claudia Gadelha holds great wins over the likes of Karolina Kowalkiewicz, who beating Carla Esparza in a fight that I actually scored for Esparza, but that puts her in a elite category. She's beaten some top caliber fighters, and she is a top caliber fighter herself, or she certainly was at one point. Alexa Grasso, despite coming off a recent loss to Carla Esparza, has also beaten the likes of Karolina Kowalkiewicz, obviously later on in Kowalkiewicz's career, so maybe she's on slight decline, but that's still a good win. Coming into this fight, there's a few key things. I think Alexa Grasso will definitely enjoy the advantage standing. Where this fight gets interesting is when it becomes a mixed martial arts fight, and I think Claudia Adela has skills to be able to win this fight, and she will most certainly be looking to utilise those skills. In my opinion, we're going to be seeing Claudia Adela be able to leverage those skills, but I have no confidence in making a pick in this one. I wouldn't advise betting on this fight if you're betting money on this fight, because Claudia Adela at this stage of her career is so unpredictable. We don't know what she's got left, but I'm going to go with Claudia Adela to get the win in this fight and to move forward. Am I confident in that bet? By no means am I confident, but I would say still go. I'm still going to go with her with no confidence whatsoever. Moving on, we got the boa constrictor himself, Alexei Oleinik, the human strangler, who at 42 years old is most certainly looking to be on the tail end of his career, especially with how many fights he's had. He fights Maurice Green, who comes into this fight with a record of 8 wins and 3 losses, so he's very rookie as opposed to Alexei Oleinik's 57 and 13 wins record, and 13 losses record. But there is a significant difference in that Maurice Green is 9 years younger. He's also the man that's 5 inches taller, standing at 6'7", whilst Alexei Oleinik stands at 6'2". Alexei Oleinik has an 80-inch reach, and Maurice Green has an 82-inch reach. Now, this is a very hard fight to pick because I feel like Alexei Oleinik is a proven commodity with wins over the likes of Travis Brown, Mark Hunt. Those are 2 good wins that he's got in his record, and obviously he's beaten Mirko Cro Cop as well outside the UFC, which is a key win. But it's hard to pick him coming into this fight because he hasn't looked the best in his last few fights. He's so vulnerable on his feet, so vulnerable on his feet. And Maurice Green is a bigger, stronger, more dynamic striker, and I believe that he's going to be able to do some damage. Much like the last fight, I haven't got much confidence in this, but I'm going to go with the younger, bigger, stronger, faster and better striker in Maurice Green. Alexei Oleinik might just grab him and squeeze him, which would kind of make me happy to see, but I'm going with Maurice Green for the win here. Now we move on to the co-main event of the evening. By the way, guys, if I speak a little bit fast, sorry, bear with me. I naturally speak very fast at work. When I do presentations, I'm told I speak very fast. I do try to consciously slow down, but sometimes my mind is running so fast that my mouth's trying to keep up, which makes me stutter a lot. I'm working on it. Anyways, in the main event, co-main event even, we got a rematch between Holly Holm and Raquel Pennington. Now, this is a very interesting rematch. The first fight was incredibly close, and that was Holly Holm's debut. They were at the same stage of their career at that point, where they were on an upward trajectory, and at this point in their careers, they're both on a downward trajectory, so they're meeting at good times, interesting times for them to meet. Last time I felt that Raquel Pennington made it a very close fight, but Raquel Pennington has looked anything but a high caliber fighter as of in recent years. After beating Miesha Tate, she's gone 1 win and 2 losses. That 1 win being over Irene Aldana, who probably should have gotten the win over her. But she comes into this fight with Holly Holm, who's 38 years old, 7 years junior of Holly Holm. Holly Holm, however, is the much better striker, and that's what she utilised in the first fight. It's kind of hard to predict how this fight goes this time because they're both so diminished. The difference is Holly Holm has been losing to top caliber, top flight competition. Now, argument can be made that so has Raquel Pennington, but I believe that Holly Holm's been more competitive with said competition. Jermaine Durandamy being a common foe, I think that Holly Holm showed that she has tons and tons of potential left against a fighter like Jermaine Durandamy when they fought. So for this fight, I'm going to pick that Holly Holm's able to utilise a similar game plan as with her last fight, use her footwork and striking to keep a distance and be able to ride out a unanimous decision. Should be an interesting one, and I think that Holly Holm should be able to get this, but I'm very interested to see it play out. Anyway, Fight Fan, why don't you guys let me know your picks? Let me know on your thoughts of this video, and let me know what you thought about my picks. I apologise if I was speaking a bit fast. I did kind of catch myself there towards the end thinking, oh shit, I'm speaking really fast. So sorry about that, but I'm working on my delivery and I'll carry on trying to get better at this. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, I'm Rohan. This is Mindful Combat. If you're new to the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. Thank you.